Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol embarks on his U.S. trip today for the summit with his American and Japanese counterparts, President Biden and Prime Minister Kishida. This first ever standalone summit will encompass ways to ramp up cooperation between the three countries. Joining me is our presidential office correspondent Kim Do-yeon. Do-yeon, so what the top office confirmed today were at least two documents at Camp David. What can you tell us?
Well, you're right, Jung-min. We have been anticipating that there will be a joint statement from the three leaders leading up to the summit, and just hours before the takeoff, the top office has confirmed it. And take a listen to what they're called and what they will reflect.
As the outcomes of this summit, the leaders of the three countries, South Korea, the United States, and Japan, will adopt two documents, the Camp David Principles, that will serve as a sustainable guideline for future trilateral cooperation, and the Spirit of Camp David, which encompasses the vision and implementation strategies of the trilateral cooperation between South Korea, the United States, and Japan.
Now, expected topics are extended deterrence of North Korea, supporting Ukraine, tackling climate change, and protecting supply chains for the three countries. As a result, we're expecting a specific plan for joint military exercises, more consultative groups on different topics such as cybersecurity, as well as something called an early warning system to protect supply chains. President Yoon also has previously said the three will discuss tech cooperation such as quantum physics, space travel, and artificial intelligence. Now, this comes as the White House earlier also confirmed that in a joint statement, the three countries will set their trilateral cooperation into motion with, quote, ambitious initiatives. White House Indo-Pacific Chief Kurt Campbell also said the documents will include marking three-way talks between leaders on annual occasion, along with efforts to invest in a three-way crisis hotline between. According to South Korea's top office, one more document could be on the way, but no details were given about it yet.
And Do-yeon, how is South Korea's top office viewing this summit and the timing?
That's right, and you have mentioned this, that it is significant, and it is evident from the fact that the three leaders are traveling just for this summit for the first time. Now take a listen to what the top office wants to describe the summit.
The Camp David summit meeting between South Korea, the United States, and Japan, which will be a focal point in pursuing freedom, peace, and prosperity on the Korean Peninsula and in the Indo-Pacific region, will divide the history of trilateral security and economic cooperation among the three nations into the period before and after August 18, 2023.
There are certain global uncertainties that South Korea is faced with, and strengthening cooperation in security and economy with the U.S. and Japan, who are like-minded, is crucial at this point. North Korea last year carried out at least 65 missile tests and has also fostered its asymmetric capabilities. Also, Pyongyang, Beijing, and Moscow have recently shown closer cooperation, especially when it comes to military. Of course, China has already shown its discontent with South Korea, the U.S., and Japan strengthening ties. While it's likely there will be a mention of protecting the rule-based world order and possibly peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, a Yoon administration official has said the document is not likely to issue words confronting China. But I do want to bring attention to the fact that this all comes as South Korea has been making efforts to put itself on the map as a global pivotal state. In fact, the trilateral summit was possible because President Yoon Suk Yeol made the decision to improve bilateral ties with Japan. As we know, he has even partly risked his domestic approval rating in order to get this far with Japan. And Washington has shown full support since the Yoon administration started to make efforts to do so. Now take a listen to what the top office had to say about this.
The combined GDP of these three countries accounts for one-third of the global GDP. It can be said that there is significant potential for cooperation in the fields of economy, security, and advanced technology among these advanced liberal democratic nations of South Korea, the United States, and Japan. The collaboration between South Korea, the United States, and Japan cannot be achieved if any one of them opposes it.
And there will be bilateral meetings as well. Just walk us through.
Right, so President Yoon will be landing in Washington, D.C. on Thursday night. He'll rest up for the night and head to Camp David early Friday, where he'll be greeted by his U.S. counterpart and kick off his schedule with a one-on-one with Biden. Then the trilateral meeting will be held, followed by lunch, where the top office says will be more of a candid setting for the three to speak frankly about ongoing issues. Then in the afternoon, Yoon will sit down with his Japanese counterpart. After that will be a joint press conference around 3 p.m. to wrap things there.
Our presidential office correspondent Kim Do-yeon, thank you.
Thank you.